Coach Rivera, glad to have you here with us. It's a very exciting night. You decide to stay at 16 and pick Emmanuel Forbes. What was it that made him your guy?
Well, the takeaways, first and foremost. That's one of the things that really, truly stood out for us. It's one of the things that, if we lacked anything as a defense last year, and we didn't lack a lot, I thought what Jack and the staff did and the players did was phenomenal on defense. It was the takeaways. That was one thing we needed to step up on. And again, this is a young man that is a takeaway machine. He does a heck of a job in man coverage, a great job with his zone coverage. So a lot of things that he does fits very well with the way we play, with the style we play. And analytically speaking, when you look at the metrics, look at the numbers, a lot of it pointed to him as being one of their top choices.
His size keeps popping up, Coach. And I said he played in the SEC. He could play anywhere. What made you just lock in on him and stick with him?
Well, that's exactly it. He played in the SEC, and Brian, that's a great point, because when you play that type of competition, you're playing just a step below the NFL, and he showed it every day. Didn't miss any game time. One of the things that people really dove into was his history of injuries. There's really nothing out there that tells you this guy you got to be concerned with. And so again, it's just knowing that we were able to really feel good about picking him.
And then, so obviously 3 good quarterbacks now. How does he fit in that room?
That's exactly it. You can't have enough. I mean, you really can't, just because what this position calls for. And you've got to have guys that are very productive and guys that are going to take the ball away. And this is an opportunity for us to have that.
Yeah.
Where were you when you're in the war room and you're having these conversations that you say, okay, you know what, this is the agreement where we're at after all the healthy conversations going into tonight?
Well, as we were going through it and you see the names that were coming up, and a lot of those names were expected. But when you get down to it and you have some of your top names still there and the guy you like the most is there, you get excited. And we got excited about it. I know our defensive staff is truly excited, and it's one of those things that this helps us. And again, if you go back and look at the analytics, one thing that we needed to improve on and get better is the takeaways.
How many conversations or what kind of interaction did you have with him leading up to this?
Well, we did the interview at the Combine, and then we had the interview when we brought him in on a 30 visit, spent a lot of time with him. Our guys spent a lot of time with him. We Zoomed with him as well. And so really felt a good sense that he understands, he gets it. A lot of things that we do similar to the things that they did also. So we think that transition, that'll be relatively easy for him as well.
Did you think about any other position at this point, or was he your guy that you wanted?
Yeah, he was in that clump, to be honest. I mean, we have a stack of guys, and so based on who's there, this is the guy we'll go for. That's what we ended up with. One of the guys we really liked, just because of the takeaway aspect of what his game brings to the table.
And then as a personality, is he competitive? Do you enjoy that?
Oh yeah. He's very competitive. When you talk to him and you listen to him, and when you watch tape with him, you listen to him talk about the missed opportunities and how upset he was about that. There was one play in particular, he bites on a double move, and the first thing he said, that's on me, because you know what, I was too anxious. The thing I got to do is be a little bit more disciplined. So I mean, again, self-corrects. A lot of good things that you're looking for in a player. We saw in him.
What are you expecting from him right off the bat when he comes in here?
Oh, come in and compete and be part of what we're doing. Now, again, it's a young man that's going to help us as a football team as we go forward.
And I think, B-Mitch brought up the size. Another thing that I like about his game is he's very physical for a man of his size. How important was that for you in this selection?
Well, it's very important, just because, again, one of the things that we tell our corners is take your shot on your leverage side.
Yeah.
And again, turn him back in. If you miss him, you miss him, but as long as it's on the leverage side, we can live with it, because why? You've turned him back to where your pursuit's coming from.
Because once he gets the ball in his hand, he seemed to be a little bit like some of these return guys we see around here.
I knew it's coming back to that.
Right. Do you ever think about anything like that? Because he seems electric.
He does. One of the things that my understanding is that he's not that gifted in terms of catching the ball, tracking the ball, catching it. No, it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard, and that's what's so special about what you did. You tracked the ball, whether it was kickoff or punt. And again, he tracks the ball very well, but it's not what he does well. Taking the ball away, intercepting the ball.
I work with
that's
him.
What.
Get him right, because he's got some nice interceptions.
No, he catches it, he goes.
He does go.
We were talking earlier, of course, Fred Smoot is just over the
moon.
You
never hear the end of it,
from
man.
Mississippi State, and he was wanting him all along and saying, even though he's a smaller stature, that's what he does.
Yeah.
He gets the ball. You can't catch him. He's in the other end zone. Who would you, though? Do you ever do comparisons to what you expect, what kind of a player that they could potentially be?
Wow, with his ball skills, he's one of those kind of guys that has the ability to make plays. And guy, there's so many great corners you think about with their ball skills that he mimics. And so it'll be interesting to see exactly who you can compare him to as he develops and grows. I mean, now it's a little early. Don't want to put that kind of pressure on the young man.
Well, Eric McMillan was a smaller guy. He
Yeah.
wasn't as tall as he is, though. And Eric played a long time and was physical as hell. So I'm looking forward to him to be physical.
Cool.
And be out there and play
And you
well.
mentioned some of the crossover from Mississippi State to here in terms of scheme, and you talked about earlier this week about making sure it was a scheme fit. Some of that zone stuff, does that speak to what you guys do? And can you talk about some of the crossover there?
Well, in the crossover being, again, here's a young man that has good spatial awareness, understands where he is on the field, and then also recognizes where people are coming from.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that analytics tells you, is that he's aware.
Yeah.
And so you see it when you put the tape on,
Yeah.
and you watch him attack the ball. You watch him get his hands on the ball. You watch him make the interception. So those are all things that you see as pluses that we can most certainly work with, because
Yes.
again, it gives us the opportunity to be successful.
Yeah.
Are you going to try to make sure you feed him some good steaks
Oh, yeah.
when
Yeah,
you get
Connor.
here?
Well, that's one of the
Just
nice
send him
things.
Muscle a
downstairs,
little
Coach. They have some steak and lobster.
Yeah,
You
the
know
steak
what it is?
lobster tonight was legit.
Yes, it was, and you're right about that. We'll put some weight on him as he grows and matures. You'll see. But again, he's a heck of a young man that we're excited about.
He might have had to fight for his dinner. He has 10 siblings.
That's gracious,
Part of it too.
Okay, so Jack Del Rio won tonight.
Yes.
Eric Bieniemy, how much is in your ear to try and make some moves tomorrow?
Absolutely. You know, it's one of the things that as we were going through the stack of players, and we talked about how it impacts going forward, and it most certainly will impact some of the things that we do tomorrow on both sides of the ball.
Any big needs you kind of still feel like you need to get addressed, or?
No, I think as you look at it, it's really just about the depth now. I mean, we feel really good about the depth we have at pretty much most of our positions. You know, now we'll see exactly what's available. You know, we'll get together as this draft ends and kind of reposition the board
Retier,
based
yeah.
on who's left.
Yeah.
How I mean, since you decide to go at 6, how long is tonight for you?
Oh, it's it's normal.
Yeah.
You going home now? You getting out of here?
No, I wish. Get some sleep.
No, Joe Gibbs to stay here tonight.
Yeah. Well, we'll be here a while, but you know, the picking where we pick gives us an opportunity to start looking at what's up there and start talking about where we can head, and we should be able to wrap up, you know, fairly early, opposed to when you're picking much later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we feel good about today.
We do.
It's exciting.
We do. Thank you, guys.
This is Season of Hope. Coach, we know there's been a lot of hard work going into tonight and into the draft, so the picks that are still to come as well.
Well, you know, I would really like to just say, you know, I really appreciate the effort that our personnel department put in. I really do. I thought our college scouts has been outstanding. They've done a great job for us.
All right, Coach, work is just getting started here at the draft.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Emmanuel
Bye,
Forbes,
Coach.
the newest
Thanks,
member.
John. Appreciate
Coach
it.
Ron Rivera, thank you so much for your time here. And we will get Forbes later, I am told. We are hoping to join tonight. He's probably celebrating as he should.
yeah.
He's got a lot of family members to
imagine.
say
How
hi
was this
to.
How was this call, by the way, Coach? How was this call when you talked to him?
You know what's funny was I think he was trying to be cool because he didn't want everybody getting all excited and everything. But you could tell he was bursting. He wanted, and then as soon as I said, "Hey, you know, I'm gonna let you go now," and again, just understand, hey, you're a commander, and you can just hear it as the family started to go. And then when we called him back, you could hear the family in the
Going
background.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That has to be
That's
so
good stuff.
rewarding
Yeah.
for you. That
is.
moment for them, their family, life changing, and hopefully
Oh, yeah.
changing to the roster in the
Yeah.
upcoming season as well.